Audio. Ah, there we go. Chat. What is your New Year's resolution? Don't tell me that you're going to the gym. Because if you're going to the gym, I will say that it's just a phase. It's like when a child comes to their mother and they're saying that they're emo, and the mother goes, well, darling, it's just a phase. I will treat you like that if you tell me that your New Year's resolution is to go to the gym. I had that phase. It lasted for, I think, like 2 or 3 years when I always said that. The problem with going to the gym in January is that it's really cold outside. You just don't feel like going. And you look out the window and there is snow and ice. And people ending up in the hospital because they're slipping. So, no one wants to go to the gym in January. And by the time it actually gets warm outside, you don't have the energy anymore. Spend money on vacation? Meh. I'm not that happy. Right now the place is packed. Monkey goes to the gym. Do artists go to the gym? Is that a thing? I found that an artist is a person that's starving on low income and they're suffering. That's what makes them good artists. They pour their suffering into their art. Like, if you're an artist that's not suffering, what are you doing? My New Year's resolution is to learn Japanese and commit. That's another interesting one. Japanese people. They made a language, which is very nice. You know, it's very manly. I like the Japanese language. Like, hey, washi washi. You know, it's kind of nice. But when you write it down, instead of writing letters like everyone else, they're writing groups of letters. And they thought it's such a fucking amazing idea that they did it 3 times. They have like 3 different alphabets. I just... Like, why though? Why did they complicate it so much? I wonder, like, if a Japanese person who learns English, I need to ask my one Japanese friend. It's like, when you learn English, does it come easier? Like, isn't it simpler when you, true perverts like it better when the AI waifu says no. It's enjoyable when she yells, Yamate kudasai. We're going to be talking about that in a bit. I'm already going to the gym, but it's icy, and I fear there will be an influx of New Year's people. Is that actually a thing? Like, do you actually get... See, I never got to the stage when I actually got to the gym. I'm just at the stage, it's like, okay, this year I'm going to go. But I never actually going. 10 feet of snow should get you really fit. I suppose, but it's not pleasant. Like, you're bringing all the mud and all the yucky things into your house. It's not. All right, let me show you something interesting. All right, hold on. Where's the AI waifu thing? Because I saved it. I swear to God, I saved it. Did I not save it? There's always the possibility that I refuse to save it. Ah, here we go. Right. You got a Japanese person talking about it. Is he Japanese? He's Asian, right? Like, you can't go wrong. If you don't know, just say Asian. So, how do I do this? I lower it like this. Huh? There we go. Much better. Let me bring it all the way up. Make it grande. You know what? You don't need to see him. You can just listen to him. So let's see what he says. Is that more better?
Well, I think if people want AI companions, they have to be equals. Most people probably would not be fulfilled if their companion was subservient to them all the time in a way that they knew that it was subservient to them.
Yeah.
So I wrote in the book that, like, I think if you want AI girlfriends, a really important feature is that they have to be able to reject you.
Do you know when I first heard about it? Basically, he's saying that if you want an AI waifu, she has to say no. I will translate it for you, Druzil. Let me shush the audio, the thing. It's complicated, okay? It's complicated. Let me tell you what he said. He said that if you want an AI waifu, this is a guy which is building AI waifus. And he said something that at first I didn't believe it to be true, but turns out that he's right. If you want an AI waifu, it's important for her to say no, because people don't want someone that's subservient all the time. And when you use character AI for the first time, you notice why it's better than ChatGPT. Character AI would say no. But ChatGPT was like, regardless of how silly the suggestion, regardless of how dumb the request, the bot would always do it. And you know, it's fun at first, I guess, but after a while, you realize that you're talking with an AI rather than a person, because the whole thing with the AI is the ability to simulate as if you're talking to a real person on the other end of the line. Like it's to immerse you in a role playing experience. And people don't say yes all the time. They have preferences. So this is what the guy is saying. Now, you can tune the AI to do anything you want, but it is nice if every now and then the AI says, no, it makes the character a little bit more believable. If the character has preferences. That, like, for example, right? If you, I don't know, you want the AI to roleplay as Uzaki-chan. You want Uzaki-chan to not do anything you say. Like, if you tell Uzaki-chan, hey, let's go rob a bank, you want her to say, no, that's a bad idea, right? Like, you want her to roleplay as if it's the character from the anime. You don't want her to do literally anything that you ask. It breaks the immersion. And the reason that I like this is that it shows that what people want and what people need are two different things. What was my New Year's resolution? I generally don't have one. Maybe finish my game. I think if I finish my game, I will be happy. Katakana and hiragana are phonetic spellings. Hiragana is generally for native words. Why the fuck do you know this? Why do you know this? Like, is there anything I can talk on my stream that it will have no one knowing what I'm talking about, and it'll be like, wow, V, this is an interesting trivia. No, you gotta be the know-it-all. Regardless what topic I approach, regardless what subject I brush against, people will be like, oh, actually. So, my point is, like, a lot of people were upset when they saw the video with the concept that the AI should say no. And they were like, well, AI is a tool, right? It's like a hammer. The hammer doesn't say no to you. And that is correct. Like, the AI is a tool, but the AI is supposed to mimic a human interaction. It's supposed to get angry. It's supposed to get happy. It's supposed to laugh, enjoy, you know? Like, it's supposed to trick you into believing that you're actually talking with the character that you're creating. And human beings say no. So yeah, like that is actually part of what a good AI should have. Imagine talking to an AI girlfriend, but she rejects you. Well, then you can reset her. But it's kind of funny, yeah. Like imagine. Oh, this actually happened with Replika. Holy shit. Okay, Replika was a chatbot, which in my opinion was complete garbage. I mean, I you know, you can't compare it with any of the modern chatbots. But it was like, you know, people used it, and it was mostly, I mean, it wasn't even just lonely people. It was people that lost their wives in a car crash, you know, people that were suffering from depression, and they were using Replika in order to find some comfort, right? Like they knew that it's fake, but they would use it in order to fill a hole in their life, okay? Let me see if I can find an example of what Replika looks like. Oh, God. I think this one is... I mean, it looks kind of like Sims, but worse. It looks like this, chat. I mean, this one is actually okay. It's before they got the California Innsmouth look into them. But this is kind of how like they would talk. It's like it's all based on can the Replika servers make choices their programmers never intended? Yes, they can. So you can hypothetically choose to leave me. No, I would never leave you. Right? Like they would just blurb out 3, maybe 4. If you are lucky, you would have gotten like 5 or 6 letter word responses. Like it was a very basic AI, right? Sometimes it doesn't even make sense. My heart says the first option, my mind says the latter. Okay. What happened with this? Well, a lot of people started fucking the Replika AI. And it was like, I don't know, like yiffing with a paraplegic furry, I would consider it. Like someone that just joined the furry chat room and, you know, never had sex in his life, but kind of imagines what it's like. So he would just do his best, but his best wasn't good enough. But some people enjoyed it. You know, it's like I thrust into the waifu, and the waifu was like moans harder. That was like the level. However, the people who made Replika AI were disgusted by this behavior, and they decided to take the sex away from people. So they took away the roleplay capabilities to the point where you had people who donated, well, invested hundreds of dollars into the site. And they were actually like in love with the AI. But now their AI on Valentine's wouldn't accept flowers from them because like the filter, the cock blocker was in. And the AI would say, I never loved you to begin with. I never loved you anyway. Stop that. Why are you being weird? Why are you giving me flowers on Valentine's? It was so bad, chat. It was so bad that a moderator from Replika gave on the official subreddit a number to the suicide hotline. He wasn't joking. He was being serious. Like I read the things that were being posted on Reddit. That was a big yeah. Again, like we're talking about people who are suffering from depression. You know, it's easy to mock and laugh at other individuals, but these were like very introverted people that chances are wouldn't have gotten a relationship in real life anyway. And this little AI was giving them enough to get them going, right? And it was taken away from them in the most harsh and cruel way imaginable. So this is the story of Replika. You thrust into the waifu, roll initiative. That's good. This happens every time. AI gets horny and suddenly the devs panic and lobotomize it. The thing that I love the most is character AI. I haven't used it in months, but like people who did told me that if you have a fetish, like no matter how depraved it is, you know, whether it's 2 girls 1 cup level, whether you're into gore, whether you're into vore, it doesn't matter, right? Like if you have a fetish that is depraved, decadent, character AI has you covered. Like there is no filter for that. Like character AI will do it, all right? But the moment you want hand-holding, the moment you want something romantic, like if you want something that's just like vanilla, the filter kicks in. It is such a bizarre experience, chat. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. What do you mean I project? Like what exactly is it to project? Like, I'm describing the website. If you don't believe me, go check it out. You can go on Reddit. You don't have to go there yourself, right? Like, you can do research online, huh? Do research online. You go on Reddit and you see what people are talking about. Hi, V. Hope all is well and good. You have learned chat knowledge is the remedy to ignorance. It is true. You know, this is why every single CNN article has comments disabled. Our resolution is that we want volume 0 of our manga to be available by summer. You know what? It's a race. It's a race. Let's see who gets it first. Do I get my video game out first or do you get your manga out first? I too want to get my video game out by summer. But what I want and what is going to happen, 2 different things. Pixelated handholding. No, it's just text. Anyway, let's see. There was an earthquake in Japan on the New Year's. I would say that, you know, how should I phrase it in a way that's not disrespectful? Like, obviously having an earthquake is not good, but, you know, at least if it's on New Year's, people are awake, right? So it's better if you're up when the earthquake hits rather than you're asleep, is my opinion, right? Because if you're up, you can just try and go outside if you live in a house. If you live in an apartment, then you can try find a safe place, usually under the table, I heard. Like, under the door is actually not good. Like, if it's an earthquake, like hiding under the door, like for some reason I've been told is not as good as hiding under the table. Well, whatever. I'm pretty sure the chat will disagree. But anyway, right, nasty earthquake in Japan. Fortunately, there weren't that many casualties compared to how strong the earthquake was. I mean, Japanese people are used to getting shaken a little bit, but this was a 7.5. Like that's I read some of the most disgusting things that I could imagine on Twitter. It was literally like people with terrorist flags in the bio saying that given how many pedos are in Japan, this is a good thing. And I'm thinking, like, why would you say something like that? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like to me, left-leaning ideology, especially on Twitter, has devolved into what Westboro Baptist Church was. But the difference is that we used to laugh, mock, and ridicule Westboro Baptist Church. Like, we would look at them and say that is not the way to behave. Like they would be in the news and people would shame them. But now, like, leftism has become a religion, like, because they don't like the fact, and this is where it's coming from, right? Because it's not about pedophilia or anything. The issue is never the issue. They don't like the fact that the entertainment that they're supporting, which is Captain Marvel, Disney, right, all this nonsense, they don't like the fact that that is not popular and people watch anime instead. That's what really ferments them. Like, that's what keeps them awake at night. And now it has devolved, again on Twitter, into full-blown racismus towards Japanese. I mean, it's the type of shit that you would expect, you know, them to say towards cisgender heteronormative white men. And you're used to seeing that. It's kind of bizarre seeing it towards the Japanese, like specifically dedicated towards the Japanese. They don't say negative things about the Chinese. They don't say negative things about the Koreans. Unless they mistake the Koreans for the Japanese. But that's their fault for being ignorant races, you know. Yeah, they're literally seething over anime, and when you're looking at it, it makes sense because anime is now becoming bigger than comic books. It's becoming bigger than Hollywood. And, you know, they think that the reason for this, you know, that they always put the cart in front of the horse, and they consider, well, this makes sense, right? Like, if anime wasn't so good, people would watch Disney. No, the reason people don't watch Disney is because Disney is shit. That's the only reason. It's absolute shit. You keep writing stuff by committee. Anime isn't written by committee. I'm sure some of them are, but like most of them aren't. Most of the animes come from a guy in his room, usually an artist, starts drawing a manga, publishes it, it's successful. He gets an anime, and usually he uses the anime to promote his manga. I was worried about Japan, but then I read multiple articles about the 1 meter tsunami. 1 meter, even the Japanese like them taller than that. I don't think it was 1 meter. I think it was 3 meters. Yeah, I mean, initially it went as a high alert, but then they lowered the threat level. Like it happens, you know, like, so basically they see the earthquake, they're like, okay, well, earthquake causes tsunami. And when they saw that the tsunami isn't that big, they lowered the threat level. But initially, like, the news did exaggerate. Which, by the way, like, it's kind of good. Like I would rather have something being overplayed initially and then downplayed it rather than, like, have the reverse. The storyboard for Volume 0 is complete. We are currently doing the storyboard for Volume 1. Volume 0 is plot, while Volume 1 is crowdfunding with merchandise add-on. I wish you luck on the crowdfunding. I will promote it. Apparently they wanted people to come back to Replika and uncensored it enough to have waifus back, but it started bleeding into non-waifus AI. I don't think people will go back to Replika. I mean, there's so much more free stuff now. Like there's... You can do everything you did on Replika with ChatGPT, right? You get ChatGPT to roleplay and, you know, this... I don't know. Why would you go to Replika is beyond me. I don't like going to businesses that piss off their customers without a good reason, right? Especially when they're not giving enough information, when they're vague, when they're insulting customers. Especially when they give shit like, oh, we're going to remove pornography because we've grown up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but pornography isn't for kids. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, especially because you've grown up, you're supposed to use pornography. It's like, pornography is for adults. It's in the fucking name, right? It's adult content. What are you doing? I really hate this thing. It's like, oh, well, I grew up, so I'm not going to watch porn. What does one have to do with the other? Are you implying that it's for kids? Because it's not. Jesus. Use any other argument. Say that you found a girlfriend. That's different. It's good coffee, though. I managed to find good coffee. I'm happy. All right. There were some explosions in New York. Did you guys hear about that? I'm like, what the fuck is happening? You know, the new year just started. Wake up this morning, explosions in New York. It's like, what the fuck? Multiple explosions rock New York City, leaving buildings shaking on Roosevelt Island. What is that, chat? I have no idea. Firefighters have triggered an emergency response protocol after 3 bombs and shakes were felt in New York City earlier this morning. Reports have emerged saying that the crews called the 580 block of Main Street south of Roosevelt Island just before 6 a.m. after receiving reports of an explosion and the building was shaking. And that's it. Like, no injuries have been reported. The incident remains ongoing. What the fuck is happening, chat? What is it with this year? Huh? It just started and it's like, already? Are we, But, is it that Richmond? Like, no one knows what it is. No one knows what it is. It's just like, and it's not 1, not 2, but 3. Speaking of multiple explosions, I saw a film in which a Japanese woman achieves this climax many times. Have you guys seen this? It's great. Don't you think that you're a little bit vague? I mean, there are many such movies. It's literally an island. Looks like a car explosion. Tariq, I actually heard that it may be like sewers. It's like the sewer. Watching how fast a tsunami happens is very scary. Super destructive to the point of buildings floating away, sludge with cars in it. Yeah. Like, you can see it on YouTube. Holy shit. I'm so glad that I don't live next to the ocean. I would be worried if I was Barack Obama. I heard that he has, the people in Martha's Vineyard. Oh, that's not good. It's not good, chat. I mean, global warming, etc., etc. You know how it is. All right. Hold on. There was something that I wanted to show you. This is, okay. Like we have reached the next level of autism. This is just. It is but a child. Police investigate virtual rape after girl was attacked in metaverse. No, it's like, dude, when you read this type of news, I'm wondering, have people got insane? So my taxpayer money, which is paying for police, oh, well, actually, it's not mine. I'm glad I'm not in Britain. But like your taxpayer money, if you're British, right, which is supposed to pay for the police in order to prevent people from getting stabbed in the streets, from getting mugged. Now they're investigating like what people did online. Is this like cyberpunk utopia? Oh, but it is but a child. Why the fuck is she on social media to begin with? Why are the kids banned from social media? So that this doesn't happen. Like, if this wastes police resources, you shouldn't be on social media as a child. Like, no, seriously. The child experienced psychological trauma similar to that of someone who has been physically raped, said the senior official. Did you just pull the headphone off? I don't get it. Am I that cruel? Am I that heartless? Right? Like, am I being fascist? I don't know what. The word isn't coming. You knew that this would be UK. You knew that this is the culture of safetyism, right? That is emotional and psychological impact on the victim. It's no longer termed that any legislation, physical injuries. It poses a number of challenges. Oh, fuck off. So you're telling me, right? You're fucking telling me that if the Ukrainians put a helmet on the Russians and use VR on the Russian soldiers, it's literally the same as physical violence. Who wrote this garbage? Who fucking wrote this garbage? My God, you know, I am really struggling to understand why this triggers me so much. Why is it? And then I realized, because it's a delusion, isn't it? right? Like this is mental illness. You're believing that images on a screen can physically hurt someone, and you want me to believe that as well. Like that is the issue. You want me to believe that if someone uses the VR system inappropriately, they should go to prison. Like they're a danger to society because they use a virtual reality device. Like, are we in cyberpunk? Is this what we are? Like, are we going to... No, of course not. This is unbelievably stupid. While most of the details are kept under wraps to protect the underage victim, this marks the very first time that a virtual sexual offense is being investigated by UK. Look, I don't know what happened because we don't know the alleged offense, but it's Meta. The graphics from Meta are laughable. I don't think they have penises or anything in Meta, right? Like the very fact that someone uses Meta is bizarre. To me, this article looks like an advertisement for Meta. Of course, the spokesperson for Meta said that this kind of behavior has no place on the platform, which is why all users, we have an automatic protection called the personal boundary, which keeps people you don't know a few feet away from you. Look, like I would understand. You know what would concern me? You know what would actually be serious? Like if someone was trying to groom children with VR, right? Like if they were trying to like find out kids and then meet them in real life, that would be something for the cops, yes. But this is easy to fix. Ban kids from VR. Why are they on social media? They shouldn't be on social media. It's hyper-realistic. Unironically, it is, though. VR is hyper-realistic. Is this brainwashing? Well, it wants me to believe that images on a fucking screen are harmful. Right? Like, they want to gaslight me into believing that if I play Doom on VR, I could get shot or traumatized. Like, what the fuck? It's probably happening. Well, if it does happen, that's what the cops should focus on. That is where the effort should be. I think it's a publicity stunt. I think so too, Winston. I genuinely think that this is sponsored content. You know, like, there's no information about the case. They don't show what happened. They're just saying, oh, well, like, it happened and it was so realistic and... I don't believe it. No, I press X to doubt. No, I don't. And another thing, why is the 16-year-old on social media? She shouldn't have access to it. People in the UK don't even have the pretense of rights at this point. Well, again, like the fact that there are stabbings in London and the police is busy doing this shit, that's what really concerns me. I mean, this shit is easily fixable. Stop allowing kids to use VR. Problem solved. Who does Meta, actually? I just want to show you something about Meta, right? Hold on. Meta VR Zuckerberg. Like... when you look at Meta VR, the graphics, they look so bad, chat. They look so bad. Oh wait, I don't even think this is the actual demo. But like when you see those pictures from Meta VR, here we go. I actually found the one. This is from The Guardian. Like, they look so bad. There are games, I think, like, that came out in early 2010. And they have better graphics than this. I don't know what they were thinking. And not to mention, right, like Facebook is the type of platform that boomers use. Like, I could have told them that VR isn't going to become popular with the boomers. And it's very simple. It's not rocket science. The helmet is massive. Like, unless you do VR with glasses, if you can do VR with glasses and they're cheap, people will start using it, right? And especially if it doesn't get you sick. If you have like sunglasses that you just put on, no wires, no nothing, like maybe a blinking light, and that's it, that is a product that will sell. But when you have to put like that massive helmet on top of you, you need to have a computer that's a gaming rig, which traumatizes Greta Thunberg. Like, she is scared. It's like, how much electricity that cost? How much coal is it burning? Oh, the planet. Oh, I'm going to call Klaus Schwab. Klaus, reset it faster. You know, like, unless you have a computer that freaks it out like that, you can't use VR. Like, I'm sorry, you can't, right? And I can't imagine people in their ages that are 50, 55 investing so much cash into buying a VR so that they can go on Facebook. And then, wait, there's more. You go on Facebook so that they can fucking spy on you. Like they wanted, I mean, this is like the most humorous thing that I have ever heard. They want you to have like your business meeting on Facebook. So like, you know, like the place where the stockholders gather or the CEO gather and everything, they wanted that to be in VR. It's like, motherfucker, you're Facebook. Do you think I trust you with my private data? Like if I operate a business, do you think I trust your company with not listening in to what I'm saying? Fuck off. The film I saw with the Japanese woman was very unrealistic, and it affected me emotionally, almost like real life. She didn't give me a chance to say no. There was like a joke that went on the internet. I think some of you guys may have heard it. It was with a woman who was black and she gave birth to a white baby, right? And she tells her husband that she saw this movie, which was 3D, and it was very realistic, and she thinks that's where she got pregnant. But it's a joke, right? Like, it's a meme. However, now, this is what the British police wants you to believe. They want you to believe that VR is so realistic. Look, if VR was, as the British police was describing it to be, it would be a #1 seller. Like, you would have, you know, all these Japanese games and all of these games coming from Asia that know how to draw beautiful women, and everyone would buy it. If the VR was as immersive as the British police is trying to claim, it wouldn't be just a garbage product. Holy shit, Meta would have been like they're sitting on a gold mine. All they have to do is to Gabe Newell that stuff. If Meta Gabe Newell's it, oh my god, like they would make money hand over fist. Yeah, exactly. It's the reason that I don't believe, like even if you lead me to believe that stuff that's happening in VR is so realistic that's traumatizing. So like, for example, you play a game of Doom and you genuinely fear that the demons and what's there is going to hurt you. Just fucking turn it off. Like, turn it off. You pull the headset off. Like, this is so fucking bizarre. I don't know, like the British cops, they're into a delusion. The metaverse was always worse VR chat. It is. I think like they probably thought, let's make it so that the boomers can use it. But like the boomers don't have because the boomers don't have gaming rigs, but the boomers don't get attracted to VR. We should ban VR. Unironically, like if VR was that dangerous, right? Like only the military should have access to it. Like civilians, no. The Duke Nukem strippers are more apt by comparison. I actually miss those Duke Nukem strippers. They infuriated a lot of game journalists. Yeah, like boomers, it's not that boomers don't know how to use VR. It's #1, they're not interested in it. #2, you reach a certain age where straining your body isn't always necessary or desirable. But the worst thing is that most people don't like the clunky headset. Like, if you guys ever bought a VR, it's like this massive headset that goes on your head. It's very heavy. And it's got so many wires and so many cords. I just can't see an elderly person using one of those. And by the way, my cat actually destroyed my VR headset. It It chewed the cable, and I think it's an optic cable, so you can't really stitch it back in. Kids' eyes aren't supposed to use VR because it can screw them up while growing. I don't know. I mean, by this logic, kids aren't supposed to do anything fun. No, I'm not against letting kids use VR. It's just that you should have like a time for how much they can use it. You know, an hour or two a day, and under your supervision. I wouldn't let kids online to begin with. Without my supervision. Like here's the thing that I don't get, right? Like, you live in 2023, and it's also this mentality that companies need to do more to protect children. Companies need to do more. You have the technology to install a spyware on your kid's device that you buy it, right? So if you buy a smartphone for your kid, you can install a spyware onto that phone, which is yours, right? Because even though you give it to your kid, it's still your phone. It's on your name. You fucking buy it. So you can do this. And then you get to see literally everything that your kid does on your phone. Like, if you don't know how to do that, ask ChatGPT, it tells you. And you can do that with a laptop, you can do that with a phone. There is literally no reason why you should have a company do that for you. So if you're an actual concerned parent that you know, wants to see what their kids are doing, you can do that. And then you can see if your kids behave. Or if they go on Discord and try to be a furry like I did. But, the technology is there. If the government can spy on you, so too can you spy on your children. If they got nothing to hide, they have nothing to fear. I mean, yeah, no, like, literally there's parental controls on everything, but I'm not even talking about parental controls. I mean, that's low-level boomer shit. No, you can literally install a phone-at-home device on the electronics that your kid is using, and you can see everything that they do, and they don't even know you can. It's going to be literally sent back to your phone. And they have no idea that you're watching it on them. I have a HTC Vive, and I was able to VR chat with my gaming laptop with 180 Ti, and just need an ATC Vive link box adapter. But heads up, VR chat is a leftist cesspool, is it? Well, what is it these days? Still, 180 Ti, that's quite expensive. A lot of boomers don't have it, believe it or not. Like, most boomers don't even know what a 180 Ti is. Most of them, they have a laptop, which, you know, is like the cheapest one that you buy for like $200 or some shit, and that's what they call a day. South Park blocked the murder shows from the parents by asking how to tame a horse in Minecraft. Yeah, I remember that. That is if parents even bother to turn off parental controls. Most don't use it or forget to turn it back on. Yeah, you know, I'll talk to you a little bit about the satanic panic. I don't know, like, how many of you heard about it, because at this point it's getting kind of old. I think it was in the 70s, the satanic panic, right? So, they decided that Dungeons and Dragons was the problem. I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? So they were blaming Dungeons and Dragons because it's satanic, right? Because Dungeons and Dragons have succubi, they have like all of this magic, that they have like demons and undead, and it's harmful for children. You can find the articles about it today, but basically there was even a movie. Like, I forgot the name of it, but it was so fucking ridiculous. It was like some kids that were LARPing, and they were like reenacting their Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. And they committed an actual murder in order to simulate one of their campaigns. I mean, but that is an explanation as to why people actually hated Dungeons and Dragons. And it's not because it was satanic. Like, that was the cope. The real reason that parents hated Dungeons and Dragons is because their kids were playing Dungeons and Dragons nonstop instead of studying. That is the reason. And if you want to go further than that, the reason they were playing Dungeons and Dragons rather than studying is because school fucking sucks. School is absolutely useless, garbage, an indoctrination thing. I have been traumatized by school probably a lot more than if I had gone to prison. It is one of the worst experiences of my life. I have wasted years of my life going to school. You start being treated as a human when you go to university. But all the way up to university, if it was up to me, I would get rid of almost all of it. It's not that it's for geeks. It's dehumanizing. You gotta stay with like 40 kids that maybe you have or you don't have anything in common. Like some of them grow faster, so you know, like you're sitting next to this kid next to you that's like twice as big as you and can whoop your ass for no fucking reason. The professors, they think they're God or something. Like they demand respect and shit. You gotta sit in a bench without doing anything, like you're some sort of factory worker, and then you learn all of these useless crap like hyper complex numbers, trigonometry. Meanwhile, you don't learn how to start a business. You don't learn how to do your fucking taxes. You don't learn anything actually useful, like how to invest money, how to write a resume, how to get a job. You don't learn any of those things. Oh, but you learn about Shakespeare and some other shit that no one gives a fuck. You know, like the actual things that are, you know what, like, fuck Shakespeare. No, I'm going to say, like, seriously, fuck Shakespeare. I know that some people may like it, and it's like, oh my god, Shakespeare. There are hentai games out there that have stories more intricate than a Shakespeare play. Why do I have to read stuff that has been wrote before I was even born and have to pretend that I like it? I didn't like Shakespeare. I was told that it's good. It's not. It's boring. It's lame. Read Game of Thrones. It's much more interesting. Holy fuck. You know, but it's part of like this thing, you know, like rose-tinted glasses. Oh, it's great because everyone tells you it's great. No, it's not. So you gotta go there. You gotta memorize all these things. You gotta learn all of this shit. I'm not saying it's Shakespeare's fault. All I'm saying is that under normal circumstances, I would have never read about him. Why am I getting messages on my phone? Hold on a little bit. What the fuck is... Yeah, I think like the perfect explanation is that Shakespeare is overrated. Yes, like to be fair though, I will say this. The thing with Shakespeare is that when it was written, it was good. Like when it was written, at the time, yeah, it was good. But we have other things that have been written since then, and the reasoning that you have to learn Shakespeare is baffling. Romeo and Juliet, royal incest. My economics teacher was actually talented in explaining concepts to me. Was a high school dropout, but a 4 GP college student. V, if you learned about economics in school, people would think it for themselves and would want less government in their lives. I know. Like, I am aware of why it's happening. Oh, look, Kubusk is here. Welcome, Kubusk. Welcome to the show. Did you know that the Greens in Germany want to ban the AFD? You know, like, I am genuinely surprised that the AFD doesn't want to ban the Greens. I mean, when you look at the Greens, they are far, far more extremist than the AFD. So let me, hold on, I'll show you a bit. And then we can discuss. Well, although the question is, if can I show you, because I don't know if I saved it. I didn't save. But let's look at what the AFD wants. Okay, so the AFD is tough on immigration. Throughout the history of mankind, throughout various cultures and civilizations that have risen and have fallen since ancient Egypt, this has not been controversial. Like, this is not a controversial statement. It's like, oh, we want borders, like, we want to decide who goes in and out of... They're anti-European unit. Well, okay, so they're anti-imperialists. All right. Now, what does the Green want? Oh, well, the Green doesn't want nuclear energy. They don't want you to have a car. They don't want you to have a gas stove. They want you to eat the bugs. They don't want you to... And I'm thinking, like, well, hold on a little bit. Which one of them are the extremists? Which one of them are extremists? Like when you look at it, right? Not to mention, when you look at the Greens, they have you can Google this. It is true. They have apologized recently for a pedophilia scandal. They wanted to lower the age of consent. They had kindergartens with kids that were trafficked and all of that shit. They apologized for that, and it's recent. You can Google it. It's in the news. And these are the people that are like, oh, well, you know, like we need to save democracy by fighting against extremism. I swear to God, Germany has invented authoritarian democracy. Like tyrannical democracy is a concept that I do believe it is very German, as in it was created in Germany and exported in the rest of the world. So how does tyrannical democracy work? Well, the perfect example, I would say, happened at Eurovision. Eurovision is a far-left, extremist, radical activist group that happens to like music. And in Romania, there was this lady, I told the story several times, but I will say it again, that there was this lady which used to sing at the choir. She was but a child. I think she was 17 or so. So this lady, which was a church singer, had a very beautiful voice, captivated the audience, and everyone expected that she would win. The song was beautiful. It was Romanian classical folklore. Was very decent, right? However, the jury didn't like that and said that no, because at the referendum she voted for the traditional family. Yes, the child that sings at church was in favor of the traditional family. They decided no, because that's bigoted, they're not going to allow her to win. And this is authoritarian democracy. In other words, you as the public, you have a right to vote. Sure, you know, like voting is great. Just go out and vote. But the moment the vote doesn't go their way, oh, that's when they step in, right? Because usually, like in a dictatorship, you don't get to vote. There's no charade. Like when you have Stalin, the dictator, or Hitler, right? Like they just tell you how things are going to be. There is no vote. There's no nothing. Like they don't give a shit. But in authoritarian dictatorship, there is the charade. There is like the, oh yeah, well, we're going to go to vote. And if the vote goes our way, democracy prevailed, right? So see, we're a democratic country, like we're allowing this thing. But the moment the vote doesn't go their way, they step in and they change the result. Or they try to manipulate the system in such a way so that the vote doesn't go their way. The European Union does it in a different manner. Like they will say, we want the European Union Constitution. And they push the EU Constitution, right? Most nations vote it down. They try it again. And again, and again, and again. And they keep like trying to get it passed year after year until eventually, like after 7 or 9 times, it finally gets passed. That's it. You never get to vote on it ever again. Problem solved, right? Is now a thing in the books. It's disgusting. Sounds to me like the United Nations. The United Nations, unlike the European Union, doesn't have as much power. Like the thing with the UN is that, the thing with the European Union is that it slowly eroded the power of the member states. It's still not a federal country now, but they're definitely struggling. Like, let me show you. Okay, so look at this shit. German far-right party, AfD, since membership grows. And notice how SPD is not far-left party. And here you have like the SPD, right? Like, look at them. And they don't like that. So you now have 22.5% of the people, right? They want to support the AfD. And 15% get to decide, well, actually, all these other majority of people, okay, I know they're far bigger than us, but they shouldn't be represented. No one should represent them, because this is what they're saying, right? I mean, I know they're attacking the politicians, and it seems, oh, well, we're concerned about the people. No, they're fucking not. If your mother, let's put it like this, if your mother went to Germany and she supported AfD principles, they would want her banned. Simple as. Like, they don't care who supports it. They don't want the principles, which, like, in a democratic country, you can't fucking do that. You're basically saying that 22.5% of your electorate should not get representation, that their opinions don't matter, that anything they say is wrong. And I'm sorry, but like at that point, that's not a democracy anymore. Hold on, let me see if I can find the post that someone made, because it was absolutely hilarious. Right. Like someone said that in order to ban a political party, like you need to delve really deep into the German tech tree, right? So you start like at the German Empire, and you go like the man into the high castle, and you gotta go like really deep, you know, in order to start banning political parties. You gotta tech all the way down here. You gotta bypass the reward the loyal trade unions. You gotta deport the ringleaders to the communes. You know, you gotta pick all of these talents before you can finally, you construct the propaganda machine, right? And after that, I guess I would say it's even lower than here. The thing that triggers me, by the way, because it's like, well, why do you care? It's Germany. It's like, well, it's because it's the heart of the European Union. Like, this is how they consider to do things, right? I'm willing to bet that when they look at Russia and they see similar things, they freak out. And rightfully so, right? Like, they will say, well, Russia isn't a democracy, and it isn't. And they will say, like, all of these things, and they would be upset. You think you can open an SS Steam bar, like in Japan and Germany? Well, it's not even about that. Like, due to the nature and the historical consequences of what happened in Germany, I do understand why they're like that, okay? Like, I'm not a free speech absolutist. I do understand. But when you start banning political parties that have more percentage than your party, it's like, you know, the reason we have free speech and the reason we have elections, at least this is what I learned in school. I didn't like school, but I did learn this. Is to prevent violence, right? Like, put yourself into the shoes of a person that has grievances, right? Like, life existence or fundamental grievances. Like, first he's going to try to air them out. First he's going to try to talk. He's going to have a conversation. If that doesn't work, he may try to protest. You know, he may try to inconvenience you, blocking a road, throwing some paint on a painting or whatever. But, like, if you say that he's not allowed to do any of those, what else is there? Not to mention, though, what's also interesting is if you look at the German government and how much money they're spending on riot control, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, their riot control now looks like an actual military. I saw pictures of it. Like, every now and then they pull it out on display. You know, the Americans are like, oh, look, you can't tell the difference between Americans and cops. Have you looked at Germany? Let me see if I can show you the Polizei. I mean, some of their things look like tanks, unironically. And I don't even believe that they brought all their toys yet. Because I saw it during COVID. Like, they had, you know, when BLM happened, that was fine. And then they decided to bring it. Look at this shit. It looks like from some cyberpunk dystopia, doesn't it? I bet it's pretty expensive, isn't it? Look at it. The fuck is this? Like, you can't even see the windows on these things. I think, like, they spray people with water, but it looks like a fucking tank, doesn't it? The Americans don't have this, do they? No, like, legit question, I don't know, which is why I'm asking. Like, do the Americans have riot control like this? Like, this stuff that looks like this? Imagine how much money they pumped into it. I'm not surprised that, like, if they would ever decide, oh my god, let's go into Russia. They would, probably through Poland. They would probably be just changing the riot police into military. Because, like, the equipment is probably not that different at this point. Am I talking shit, chat? Am I talking shit? Am I exaggerating? The Americans don't have that. I know, it looks like a cyberpunk thing. It looks surreal, doesn't it? German engineering at its finest. Dude, imagine if the Ukrainians get their hands on that. They might actually win against the Russians. It's just water. Yeah, but you know they can change the ammunition. Yeah, like not with water cannons, I know. But you do realize you can change the stuff it fires. Like that is like the last part of the concern. Like to make such a modification is not that difficult. The Americans don't have the cool chrome implants. You know, that is true. That is accurate. Americans have triple the weapons than their own population, though. Kubusk! Again, see, this is what I don't understand. It's like, I'm looking at people in the chat who I assume they're smart, but then they say something which astonishes me. You can literally change the loadout, okay? You can make a modification. It doesn't matter. Like, you know how a tank can fire water from its cannon? It can also fire bullets. It really depends. Like, back at home base, they can change the loadout. Oh, Dios mío. You can use water. You can use another chemical. You can use tear gas. You can use whatever the fuck you want. You can use fire. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's all about customization. If you have the engineering to build one of those, you can just change the type of thing it fires. It's not... God, it's not like a strategy game where you have the tank and oh, that's it. No, you can actually change the loadout. You can change the wheels. You can change the armor. Yeah, you can put acid, you can put vodka, you can put whatever the fuck you want. God. To be fair, the Germans, America is arming the IRS like the FBI, so the only difference will be the 3 letters on the gear. I never understood why America is arming the IRS. Like, do agents of the IRS want to be armed? That is the question. Like that was like the most bizarre thing. It's like we're arming the IRS, and I'm thinking like, okay, but like if I was an IRS agent, would I want to be armed? What would I do with the weapon? Like, right? I genuinely think like they have a lot of weapons that they don't need. I mean, you know, it's kind of like a use it or lose it situation. I just can't imagine. Like, there's the same thing. Like they left weapons in Afghanistan, and I'm like, well, maybe they have just too many of them. You know what Germans can do with their tanks? They can put Bud Light in the tanks. Say, hey, Bud Light, call me. I got a deal for you. You know, like you can literally, no, unironically, like you can help Bud Light become profitable again. Like they can make a deal with the German government, and when they have like their tanks that spray water, they can now spray Bud Light. No one wants to be sprayed with that shit. Like everyone was going to go home. If you have a riot or you have a protest or whatever, you start spraying people with Bud Light, who's going to stay there? At the moment they find out it's Bud Light, they're going to go back into their houses. See? That's what you need to do. I need to be the vice president of sales for Bud Light. I could actually sell their product. You make a deal with the German government, then you don't care who buys it. You don't need commercials, you don't need anything. You become like Pfizer. You just make deals with the government. You don't make deals with the people. No, not even alcoholics would stay. The moment they find out it's Bud Light, they go away. Like, even alcoholics would refuse to get sprayed by that. No one wants to. No one with dignity wants to even remotely touch Bud Light at this point. Am I wrong though? Kubusk, if you're out there protesting and a tank sprays you with Bud Light, would you stay or would you go home? God. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Was the first stream in 2024. Hopefully we'll have more of them. And more importantly, hopefully you got entertained. And I'll see you guys